What happens when Hollywood tosses out its rulebook? From fearless rule breakers to famous heartbreakers, these stars didn't simply belong to an era, they shaped it and redefined what it meant to be unforgettable. Who were the real-life rebels behind the silver screen? Step into the spotlight and discover the legends who made pre-code Hollywood thrilling, daring, and often shocking. Clara was far more than a popular actress. She became the living symbol of the Roaring Twenties. Nicknamed the It Girl, she electrified audiences with her lively spirit, natural charm, and irresistible presence. At a time when movies were only beginning to find their voice, Beau expressed everything through energy and movement. On screen she embodied carefree flappers and sharp-witted city girls who followed their own rules, and off-screen her life was just as adventurous. Raised in poverty in Brooklyn and shaped by a difficult childhood, her determination pushed her into a beauty contest that opened the door to silent films. Her breakthrough came with it, instantly turning her into a modern superstar. She appeared everywhere, magazines, newspapers, and gossip columns, and the public couldn't get enough. Yet fame carried a cost. Hollywood's loose boundaries encouraged a fast lifestyle, and Beau openly embraced parties and rejected traditional expectations for women. Rumors about relationships with actors, directors, and women only fueled her reputation. Her honesty and refusal to fit the industry's good girl image made her both adored and controversial. Despite legal battles and constant scrutiny, her career flourished. When sound films arrived, she struggled with anxiety over her Brooklyn accent, but still starred in Wings, the first Academy Award winner for Best Picture, and became one of Paramount's top names. The pressures of studio life and non-stop gossip eventually affected her health, and she stepped away from Hollywood at only 28. Her legacy endures as proof that living by your own rules in early Hollywood could be exhilarating and dangerous. If pre-code cinema needed a glamorous emblem, it was Jean Harlow. Branded the blonde bombshell, she embodied boldness and confidence. Her rise was rapid and spectacular, setting a pattern for future generations of stars. After beginning as an extra, she broke through in Hell's Angels, produced by Howard Hughes. Her platinum hair, playful delivery, and unmistakable self-assurance made her instantly recognizable. On screen she portrayed women who unapologetically chased what they wanted, often stealing scenes from everyone around her. Off-screen, the public followed her romances and marriages just as closely. The death of her husband Paul Byrne under mysterious circumstances became one of Hollywood's most talked-about tragedies. In spite of personal turmoil, she became one of MGM's most reliable stars and brought daring humor to films such as Red-Headed Woman and Dinner at 8. Her sharp one-liners and glamorous costumes influenced fashion nationwide, inspiring countless women to copy her look. As censorship tightened, her freedom to shock audiences diminished, but her screen image remained powerful until her death at just 26. Her legacy is rooted not only in performance, but in her fearless way of living. Mae West was more than a star, she was a phenomenon. Known for her sharp humor, double meanings, and unshakable confidence, she built an entire career on scandal. Before Hollywood, she was already famous on the New York stage, even spending time in jail over her controversial play Sex. Instead of retreating, she used the notoriety to strengthen her public image. Her film debut in Night After Night made such an impression that she quickly overshadowed the original lead. Soon after, she wrote and starred in She Done Him Wrong, which rescued Paramount financially and earned an Academy Award nomination. West's genius lay in pushing boundaries with playful confidence while openly championing women's independence. Even when censors tried to limit her, she slipped her message through suggestive glances and clever phrasing. Off-camera, her social life was just as colorful, filled with friends, admirers, and famously extravagant parties. She refused to allow Hollywood to control her choices, and even after stricter rules arrived, she continued to entertain audiences for decades with the same mischievous swagger. The rise of Joan Crawford from poverty to screen royalty represents one of Hollywood's most driven success stories. Born Lucille LeSueur, she fought relentlessly for recognition and transformed herself into a symbol of the modern woman. In pre-code cinema she stood out for her intensity, discipline, and magnetic glamour. Films such as Grand Hotel and Rain presented her as strong, self-reliant, and emotionally complex. Her personal life, marked by romances, luxury, and constant gossip, helped shape her public image. She was famously meticulous about appearance, even reportedly undergoing cosmetic procedures to sharpen her features. Beneath her carefully controlled persona, however, she struggled with insecurity and pressure. Yet she repeatedly reinvented herself and remained a powerful presence well beyond the pre-code years, leaving behind a reputation for resilience and unyielding ambition. Barbara Stanwyck built her career on strength, realism, and emotional depth. Orphaned young and raised in poverty, she learned independence early and worked as a chorus girl before finding stage success in burlesque. Her film debut in Ladies of Leisure launched a pre-code career defined by tough, complex women. In Babyface and Night Nurse, she portrayed survivors who bent rules in order to survive and succeed. Drawing from her own life, she gave these characters authenticity and emotional honesty. Off-screen, she was respected for professionalism and independence, and although her marriage to Robert Taylor drew attention, her reputation remained solid. Her 6-decade career began with pre-code performances that proved toughness and vulnerability could exist together. As MGM's early 1930s queen, Norma Shearer became a symbol of elegance combined with daring subject matter. After early criticism and professional setbacks, she persisted and rose to prominence. Her marriage to studio executive Irving Thalberg brought influence, but her success was driven by talent and bold choices. Films such as The Divorcee and A Free Soul placed modern women at the center of controversial social issues. A glamorous photo session by George Hurrell reshaped her public image, presenting her as confident and modern. Even as stricter censorship reduced opportunities for such daring roles, her pre-code work redefined the intelligent, independent leading lady. Tallulah Bankhead lived as dramatically as she performed. Famous for her husky voice and biting wit, she became known for her unpredictable lifestyle and fearless personality. Born into a prominent Alabama family, she chose the stage instead of comfort and gained recognition in both London and New York before moving to film. In Hollywood, she appeared in projects such as Faithless and Devil and The Deep. Her parties were legendary, her friendships wide-ranging, and her outspoken opinions constant sources of fascination. Generous, loyal, and unapologetic, she refused to allow the industry to tame her individuality, becoming a lasting symbol of personal freedom. The ultimate pre-code bad boy was John Barrymore. Born into a celebrated acting family, he moved effortlessly between Shakespeare and Hollywood films such as Svengali. His commanding presence and emotional depth made him unforgettable on screen. Off-screen, however, he became notorious for excess, wild parties, and dramatic romances. The press eagerly followed every scandal, and his lifestyle often clashed with studio expectations. Although his health suffered, his artistic legacy remained secure, shaping the image of the charismatic and rebellious movie star. With her smoky voice and androgynous style, Marlene Dietrich redefined femininity on screen. She first gained attention in Germany with The Blue Angel, before arriving in Hollywood and collaborating closely with director Joseph von Sternberg. Films such as Morocco and Shanghai Express presented women who lived outside traditional gender boundaries. Off-screen, she challenged convention through fashion, relationships, and personal independence. Refusing to cooperate with Nazi Germany and later supporting Allied troops, she demonstrated courage that extended far beyond the camera. Her influence on film, style, and culture continues to resonate. One of Hollywood's earliest international heartthrobs was Ramón Novarro, a trailblazer for Latino performers. Born in Mexico and raised in Los Angeles after the Mexican Revolution, he rose to fame in epic productions such as Ben-Hur and Scaramouche. Carefully marketed as a romantic leading man, his public image was tightly controlled by the studio system. Behind the scenes, social prejudice and rigid moral expectations forced him to hide much of his private life. Known for generosity and kindness, he quietly supported family and friends while maintaining a demanding career well into the 1950s. His legacy reflects both the opportunities and limitations faced by minority stars in early Hollywood. From dazzling performances to astonishing personal drama, these pre-code icons proved that reality could be just as extraordinary as fiction. Their lives were often controversial, yet their courage and creativity helped shape modern stardom. Which of these legendary figures surprised you most? Share your thoughts, and join us again for more stories from cinema's most fascinating chapters.